this lecture. Right? So the first one is define what is shoulder joint, types of sandhi, that is which type of joint this is according to Ayurveda as well as modern. Then describe the structure of the shoulder joint, demonstrate various movements which take place at the shoulder joint. Then illustrate the applied aspect or the clinical anatomy of the shoulder joint and introduction of diseases of sandhi explained in Ayurveda, especially related to the shoulder joint. So we will move on. So the course outcome which will be achieved in this particular topic is course outcome number 3, which says describe and demonstrate all joints with attachments of associated structures and its clinical application. Through this course outcome, it will be aligned to this program learning outcome number 1 and 2, which is mentioned in the syllabus as per the NCERT. Now we will come to the main part, that is the type of the shoulder joint. Now the shoulder joint is a ball and socket type of joint, and obviously it is a synovial kind of joint. According to Ayurveda, shoulder joint is a type of Ulubhala Sandhi, right? It is a type of Ulubhala Sandhi. The name of the shoulder joint which is mentioned in Ayurveda text is Amsa Sandhi, right? So the next, articular surfaces. Articular surfaces means the bony surfaces which have come together to form the actual bony joint. So which are these articular surfaces? So this joint is formed by articulation of the glenoid cavity of scapula. You know the pear-shaped glenoid cavity of scapula which we have already studied under osteology, right? So this glenoid cavity of scapula, and the second articular surface is obviously the spherical head of the humerus, right? Now the head is 4 times the size of the glenoid cavity. Now this head of the humerus, it is larger in size as compared to the glenoid cavity. So what would be the basic problem here is, the main problem with this will be the stability of the joint. Since the socket which is formed in this ball and socket by the glenoid cavity is not sufficient enough in size, as well as it is not sufficient enough in terms of its depth to hold the head of the humerus. That means for the stability of the shoulder joint, certain things are present over there which helps to boost its stability or the strength of the joint, we can say. So the first one is the coracoacromial arch. Now coracoacromial arch is an arch, it is ligamentous, right? So it is formed by the coracoid process and the acromial process which comes on the top of this shoulder joint. So this coracoacromial arch or secondary socket of the head of the humerus. Now this coracoacromial arch which is present above the shoulder joint, when there is overhead abduction of the shoulder joint, right, and we move our head above the head. So in this case, this particular arch will act as a socket because the glenoid cavity is very small in size. So this is the first point which helps in the stability of the joint. The second one is the musculotendinous cuff. Now musculotendinous cuff is a cuff which is formed by the muscles, the four muscles which are surrounding the shoulder joint. So these muscles, they form a cuff around the shoulder joint. So which are the muscles which are involved in this? So the first one is the subscapularis muscle. The second one is supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor. So these are the four muscles which are surrounding the shoulder joint and which acts as a musculotendinous cuff. Now the next is the glenoidal labrum. Now what is this glenoidal labrum? Glenoidal labrum is nothing but a very thin ligament, okay, which covers the entire glenoid cavity. So it acts as an extended border for this glenoid cavity. Now what is the significance of this glenoidal labrum? So this glenoidal labrum is an important ligament of the shoulder joint. Why? Because ये जो glenoid cavity है, this head of the humerus will fit into it, right? But since it is smaller and shallower, to increase the depth of this glenoid cavity, there is this extension of the glenoidal labrum. So this is one more point for the stability of the shoulder joint. Then the next is stability is also provided by the muscles attaching the humerus to the pectoral girdle, other than the muscles which are forming the musculotendinous cuff. So these muscles also help in providing the stability. And the last point in the stability is the atmospheric pressure which is there on the joint. So witness all the which are present around the shoulder joint, the joint is made more stable. Why this stability is important? Because it is a very mobile joint, since it is a ball and socket type of joint. Now coming to the ligament. So the first ligament in any kind of synovial joint is the capsular ligament or the fibrous capsule. Why this is an important ligament? Because it encircles or it covers the entire joint part, right? So that is the capsular ligament. It is very loose and permits free movements. Okay, so its looseness allows the free movements of the shoulder joint. Then the other ligaments are, there is coracohumeral ligament, there is transverse humeral ligament, glenoid labrum, which we have just seen as a point in stability, and the glenohumeral ligament. So in the next slides, we will see the diagrams, the diagrammatic representation. Here we can see the glenohumeral ligament. That means a ligament which is shown in this blue color, and it is connecting the glenoid cavity with the humerus, right? Now this particular ligament, you can see here, it is in the form of three bands, an upper band, a middle and a lower band. So this is the glenohumeral ligament. There is one more ligament which is shown in this diagram, that is coracohumeral ligament. Now coracohumeral ligament, from the name itself you can identify that it will be connecting the coracoid process with the humerus. Coracoid process of scapula with the humerus. So that is coracohumeral ligament. We have seen coracoacromial arch, right? So these are the two bony parts which form this arch. And there is one more ligament which is also important in this, that is coracoacromial ligament, which connects the coracoid process with the acromion process. So these three ligaments are visible in this. Then here we can see the transverse humeral ligament. Okay, the transverse humeral ligament is a very short and a broad band of ligament which will cover the intertubercular sulcus or the bicipital groove which we have seen in the humerus osteology, right? So it is a very small ligament which is shown here. Glenoidal labrum is seen. So here in this diagram we can see the